In the heart of London's bustling Camden town, 25-year-old Ivy Reynolds lived in a chic studio flat overlooking the vibrant market. With her flawless fair skin, perfectly styled chestnut hair, and a wardrobe curated from the trendiest boutiques, Ivy was a vision of modern beauty. Her smile could light up a room, but it masked a darker side, a venomous tongue that struck without mercy online. Known on social media as Ivy the Savage, she was a self-proclaimed queen of shade, a keyboard warrior who thrived on tearing others down. Her weapons were her iPhone, a lightning-fast Wi-Fi connection, and an unshakable confidence in her ability to craft the perfect burn. Ivy's days revolved around her phone. From her plush velvet sofa, she'd scroll through Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, her sharp eyes hunting for posts to mock. A poorly lit selfie, an outdated outfit, or an earnest caption. Nothing escaped her scrutiny. To her, the internet was a playground, and every post was fair game. Her followers, numbering in the tens of thousands, adored her cruelty, flooding her comment sections with laughing emojis and calling her the undisputed queen of burns. Ivy lived for the thrill of going viral, her notifications buzzing like a slot machine hitting the jackpot. One crisp autumn morning, as rain tapped against a window, Ivy sipped her oat milk latte and scrolled through Instagram. She stumbled across a post from a young mother, Emily, beaming with pride as she shared a photo of her newborn, swaddled in a soft blue blanket. Ivy's lips curled into a smirk. Without a second thought, she reposted the image to her story, typing, "This is why paternity tests exist. No way this kid belongs to those parents." She hit post and watched the reactions pour in, laughing emojis, heart eyes, and a few savage comments. Some followers urged her to delete it, citing the mother's obvious joy, but Ivy fired back. "If you're mad, go cry in a corner. It's not that deep." Unbeknownst to her, Emily deleted the post an hour later. Her heart shattered after reading a comment, revealing her baby was a surviving twin, the other lost to a rare illness. Ivy didn't care. She was already on to her next target. Later that day, she found a tearful TikTok from a woman named Sarah, a single mother recounting how burglars had broken into her small flat, stealing her late husband's watch and her children's savings. Ivy's fingers danced across her screen. "Valuables? You look like you've never owned anything worth stealing. Brush your teeth before you cry online." The comment section erupted, some condemning her cruelty, but Ivy was unstoppable. When a user called her out for being heartless, she retorted, "Mind your business, you walking landfill." Her post racked up thousands of likes, and she basked in the attention, her ego inflated by the chorus of "Yas, Queen" replies. That evening, while lounging in her silk pajamas, Ivy stumbled upon a TikTok of a woman named Rachel proudly showcasing a home-cooked shepherd's pie she'd made for her husband. Ivy's comment was ruthless. "No wonder your kid's a mess with food like that. What do you expect to raise?" The video's comments turned into a war zone, with some defending Rachel and others joining Ivy's mockery. Rachel, devastated, deleted her son's photos from her profile. Her boy had been born with autism, a fact Ivy never bothered to learn. To Ivy, it was just another day of keeping it real, her phone buzzing with notifications as she drifted off to sleep. Ivy's reign of terror continued unchecked, her follower count climbing with every vicious post. But one chilly October afternoon, everything changed. Lounging in her flat, the hum of her air conditioner blending with the faint sound of Netflix pause on her TV, Ivy opened Twitter, ready to hunt for her next victim. She found a tweet responding to one of her cruel comments about a stranger's outfit. "Be kinder. You don't know what someone's going through." The tweet came from a woman named Margaret, whose profile picture showed a middle-aged woman with tired eyes and a red scarf wrapped around her head. Ivy scoffed, muttering, "Who's this preachy nobody?" She clicked Margaret's profile, scanning her modest posts about gardening and family. To Ivy, she looked like an easy target, someone who wouldn't fight back. Without hesitation, Ivy quoted the tweet, "Kindness? You look like you can't afford it. Take your sad vibes elsewhere." She hit send, and the likes poured in. The tweet went viral, trending across London's Twitter sphere, and Ivy reveled in the chaos. Emboldened, she dug through Margaret's old posts, mocking everything from her faded dresses to her heartfelt captions about her garden. Then she found a post from 3 years ago, a photo of Margaret with a young girl, captioned, "I miss you every day, my angel." Ivy's response was heartless. "She probably ran away from your face. I would have too." She added a laughing emoji, expecting the usual flood of likes. But Margaret didn't respond. Infuriated by the silence, Ivy doubled down, tweeting hourly, "This sad sack thinks she's therapist. Looks like a charity case to me." She tagged Margaret's handle relentlessly, even posting a video of a monkey swinging from a tree, captioning it, "This you?" Spineless and pathetic. Her followers egg her on, their comments daring her to keep going. On the third day, Margaret finally replied, "Watch your back." The words were simple, but they sent a chill down Ivy's spine. Who does she think she is? Ivy muttered, her bravado faltering. She typed back, "I'm in my flat in Camden. Come get me then." Her followers piled on, daring her to escalate. Not one to back down, Ivy tweeted again, "Still waiting for you to show up? Let's see how tough you are." She tossed her phone onto her bed, laughing nervously, and tried to shake off the unease creeping into her chest. It was 11 p.m., and with a lecture at her university the next morning, she crawled into bed, convincing herself she was untouchable. At 2:17 a.m., Ivy was jolted awake by a sharp, swishing sound, like a whip slicing through the air. Her heart pounded as she sat up, her silk sheets slipping to the floor. The room was pitch black, the only light coming from the faint glow of her phone charging on the nightstand. "Who's there?" she stammered, her voice trembling. Silence. Then a searing pain slashed across her back, as if an invisible cane had struck her. She screamed, clutching her skin, but no one was there. Another lash struck her legs, sharp and burning, sending her tumbling out of bed. Fumbling in the dark, Ivy flipped on the light switch, her breath ragged. The room was empty, her minimalist furniture, her neatly arranged skincare products, all untouched. But her skin burned, the pain pulsing like a heartbeat. Her eyes darted to the far corner of the room, and her blood ran cold. There, hovering inches off the hardwood floor, stood a woman in a red scarf, her face gaunt and her eyes burning with quiet fury. In her hand was a thick cane, carved with intricate serpentine patterns. Her voice echoed, calm but chilling. "You said to come, so I came." Before Ivy could scream, the cane lashed her arm, the pain so intense she thought her skin had split open. She bolted for the door, her bare feet slipping on the polished floor. Flinging it open, she froze. Her familiar Camden Street was gone. In its place was a dark, endless forest, its gnarled trees swaying under a starless sky. The leaves whispered her name in a low, mocking chant. "Ivy, Ivy!" She slammed the door shut, collapsing against it, tears streaming down her face. "Please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it," she sobbed, her voice breaking. The woman said nothing, raising the cane again. Ivy ran through her flat, screaming for help, but the walls seemed to swallow her cries. The flogging continued, each lash more excruciating than the last, until she blacked out, her body tingling with pain. Morning broke, and Ivy's neighbors found her curled up in a hallway of her building, trembling like a leaf in a storm. Her face was pale, her glossy lips cracked and dry, her eyes wide with terror. She didn't speak, her hands shaking as she clutched her knees. Word spread quickly, and her best friend Tara, a bubbly graphic designer who lived across town, rushed over after learning Ivy had deactivated all her social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, even Snapchat. Tara burst into the flat, dropping her bag as she saw Ivy, once vibrant and smug, now a hollow shell of herself. "Ivy, what happened?" Tara asked, kneeling beside her. Ivy's voice was barely a whisper, her eyes darting around, as if expecting the woman to appear. She came, Tara, the woman in the red scarf. She wasn't human. Her feet didn't touch the ground. She recounted the night, the cane, the forest, the whispers. Tara, skeptical but alarmed, suggested it was a nightmare, perhaps stress or sleep paralysis. But Ivy shook her head, pulling back her shirt to reveal her back. Though no marks were visible, her skin twitched with every memory of the pain. I felt every lash. It was real. Tara sat with her, unsure what to believe. Ivy's flat, usually immaculate, was in disarray. Her phone lay on the floor, her wig tossed carelessly on a chair. "What now?" Tara asked. Ivy's voice was faint. "I'm done. No more trolling, no more clapbacks. I just want peace." They sat in silence, the weight of Ivy's fear filling the room. That night, as Ivy lay in her bed, the whipping started again. She screamed, flailing as if struck by an invisible force, her body jerking with each imagined lash. Tara, staying over to keep an eye on her, watched in horror as Ivy's eyes rolled back, her voice pleading, "Make it stop." Ivy collapsed unconscious, her breathing shallow. Tara, panicking, rushed her to a nearby hospital in an Uber, the driver casting worried glances in the rearview mirror. At the hospital, doctors ran tests, MRIs, blood work, neurological scans, but found no injuries, no explanation for her seizures or pain. "It's like her body's reacting to something we can't detect," the doctor said, his brow furrowed. Ivy's mother, Helen, a stern but loving schoolteacher, arrived from her home in Kent, her face etched with worry. Tara explained everything, how Ivy had mocked a grieving woman online and dared her come. Helen's eyes filled with tears. "I warned her," she said, her voice thick with regret. "I told her to stop, to think about the people behind those screens." She laughed it off, said it was just fun. Now look at her. She insisted they take Ivy to a church, believing the affliction was beyond medical explanation. They drove to a small Anglican church in North London, where a pastor, Reverend Thomas, was waiting. His presence was calm but commanding, his eyes kind yet piercing. They laid Ivy on a pew near the altar, her body weak and trembling. As the pastor began to pray, Ivy screamed, her voice echoing to the stone walls. "She's here." The cane's on fire. Her body convulsed, her hands clawing at the air. The pastor, undeterred, prayed fiercely, his voice rising like thunder. "This is no ordinary pain," he said after an hour. "She's crossed a grieving spirit, a mother whose daughter died in a tragic fire. The pain Ivy mocked runs deep." He declared Ivy must stay in the church for 5 nights, fasting and praying to sever the spiritual tie. "If we don't, the torment will kill her," he warned. For 5 nights, they prayed relentlessly. Ivy's screams grew quieter, but her body twitched, and she muttered apologies to strangers she'd mocked, names she barely remembered. On the 3rd night, she lay still, her eyes fixed on the ceiling, whispering, "She's not alone." She brought others. Helen wept, falling to her knees, begging for mercy. On the 4th night, Ivy dreamed of the woman in red standing by a grave, clutching a child's scorched shoe. "You mocked my pain," the woman said, her voice soft but heavy. "My daughter burned in my arms, and you laughed." Ivy sobbed, her dream self falling to her knees. "I didn't know. Please forgive me." The woman's eyes softened, but her voice was firm. "Your mother's tears reached me. For her sake, I release you. But mock another's grief, and I'll return with fire." Ivy woke, drenched in sweat, gasping, "She forgave me." Helen held her, sobbing, "Thank you, God." The church was quiet, the air heavy with relief. Ivy never returned to social media. The once vibrant queen of shade became a shadow of her former self, her laughter replaced by a quiet compassion. She volunteered at a local charity, listening to others' stories with gentleness she'd never shown before. Her flat, once a shrine to her online persona, became a place of reflection, adorned with books on empathy and forgiveness. She no longer craved likes or applause. She craved peace. The internet, Ivy learned, was no playground. Behind every post was a person with real pain, real wounds. Her lesson was brutal but clear. Words have power, and cruelty can summon darkness to your doorstep. As she walked through Camden Market one sunny afternoon, her phone free of social media apps, she paused to help a stranger struggling with her bags. The stranger smiled, and Ivy felt something new: peace.